Welcome to another installment of Should I Read This? So in today's installment of Should I Read This, we're going to be focusing our attention on Andy Ngo's new release, which is Unmasked, Inside Antifa's Plan to Destroy Democracy. So this is something that is kind of more on-the-ground reporting than we normally do, but it's something that interests me because it may be able to provide some sort of new insight into the world of Antifa that I'm not as directly familiar with as I could be. And there's a few things that have alerted my attention to this book that have actually made me kind of want to read this book, but I'm not sure if I actually want to get into this type of reading on this channel. So you guys let me know in the comments section if you guys want me to go ahead and read this book. And where I'm actually going to start for some insights here is a review from, let's do the review from the LA Times first. And this review, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's unnecessary for us to read the whole thing. We can get the sentiments of the review probably in the first paragraph or so. So, review. Andy Ngo's new book still pretends Antifa's the real enemy. Okay? And then it leads off with a picture, and the picture is captioned, Andy Ngo, after being attacked with weapons including almost definitely a vegan milkshake in Portland, Oregon in June 2019. I would prefer if they made some mention of the fact that there was a time when he was attacked with milkshakes that were filled with concrete and blocks and concrete chunks. So it wasn't just Portland cement, it was actual hardened chunks as well. And this is what caused him serious brain damage and what, I won't say put his life in peril, but wound him up in the emergency room and gave him such serious concussions that he was seeing the effects from it weeks afterwards. And this is by Alexander Nazarian. No idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. There's an alternate universe out there in which we never had to ponder, let alone read Unmasked, provocateur Andy Ngo's supremely dishonest new book on the left-wing anti-fascist movement known as Antifa. In that other world, far, far away, Marjorie Taylor Greene remains a nutty CrossFit enthusiast from Georgia, not a member of Congress, and we know nothing of her musings on Jewish space lasers, the execution of Democrats, or false flag school shootings. So I think we're going to stop our read of this review here. I'll put this review, and I'll put a link to this review in this video's description. It's a really, really, really long review, but quite honestly, I think I'm quite familiar with the review bias and the reviews from the LA Times. So honestly, this makes me just want to read the book more based on that review. What we'll do is we'll actually go to Amazon's review and we'll just read the #1 review on Amazon. Now, Amazon, I have some moral apprehensions with. So guys, in the comments section, let me know if you think there's a better place for me to buy this book, or if there's another place that you guys can recommend to buy this book. In fact, if you guys have a local bookstore that does some sort of online service where I can buy it online from your local bookstore and have it shipped to me from them directly, let's do that. Put that in the comments section. Promo your favorite local bookstore, and I'll give them my money. So, first things first, their review response on Amazon is 148 global ratings with an overall rating of 4.9 out of 5. Not a whole lot of 1-star reviews, a handful of 4-star reviews, and pretty much all of the rest seem to be 5-star reviews. So because of that, the fact that this is basically looking like a purely 5-star review, and I really don't have a large enough sample size to make any headway of, say, the 4 and 1-star reviews, we'll just go with the top-rated review, which is offering 5 stars. Andy Ngo spent 4 years trying to shine a light on the realities of Antifa. It nearly cost him his life on more than one occasion. His first-hand accounts in the pages of this book are chilling. Although the single incident from the summer of 2019 brought him to national and international prominence, there's so much more to his story. Excuse me. Ngo provides the history behind Antifa, its roots from Europe, how it's mutated in England and in the U.S. His focus has been the Pacific Northwest, especially Portland and Seattle. He knows the players and they know him, a fact that is highly evidenced in the stunning photography he's included. So, photographic evidence. His research also includes a syllabus for new members to the Portland chapter. You'll find this in Chapter 4 of the book. It's offered after months of vetting, 6, I believe, and has quite a bit of mandatory requirements. There are also numerous concessions for inabilities. It's purposeful. Andy supports all his writing with extensive notes and references. The last 25% of this volume is devoted to it. He also takes a brief chapter to share a quick biographical sketch of his parents and their journey from Vietnam. For me, this inclusion added an element of urgency and sobriety for a life already too visible to sleep peacefully. Unmasked is well written and lives up to its name. People, places, and actions, or lack thereof, are all unmasked. The last thing that brought my attention to this book was, and this is probably going to get me in trouble on this channel, but I'll say it anyways. This is an interview Andy did with the folks over at the Lotus Eaters on his book. And as far as I know, this is probably the best interview you're going to get on with Andy Ngo specific to the book. So they expand out into a few other things, but primarily the focus is on the book itself, which is how I would prefer interviews about somebody's book go, and the contents of that book. So I'll put a link to this video too in this video's description so you guys can take a look at that. But in the end, this is what has brought my attention to this book, and this is why I'm seriously considering getting this book and reading it for you guys on this channel. So as I always close, the question I'm going to be asking for you guys is, do you guys want me to read this on this channel? And of course, the purpose being, do you guys want me to read this on the side and provide you guys a review? And or would you guys like me to actually do a review, do a read of this book on this channel, as we're doing right now with Thomas Sowell's Economic Facts and Fallacies and Henry Hazlitt's Economics in One Lesson? I can do it without any analysis and review if you'd like. I prefer to do it with the analysis and review, as I've been doing in those two series. So as I've mentioned, links are in this video's description, and let me know in the comment section, folks, should I read this book?